This is Live at Lunch on KRFC 88.9 FM. My name's Ben Dickinson, and I'm your host. We broadcast from the Ginger and Baker studio in the heart of the Music District in Old Town Fort Collins. We also stream worldwide on krfcfm.org, and we're available as a podcast. Our guest today is High Lonesome. High Lonesome seeks to put a new spin on hard-driving good old bluegrass. They love tight harmonies, original melodies, and they like to bring a little bit of jazz and jam music into the bluegrass scene. They have a new record out. It's called High Lonesome, self-titled, and please welcome High Lonesome.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit the road with the full moon in, alright. I couldn't leave fast enough even if I tried. It was just me and you, that
You're listening to Live at Lunch on KRFC 88.9 FM. Our guest today is Hi Lonesome. Welcome, you guys.
How's it going?
Hey, thanks, you. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
congratulations on your new debut record. Came out in November.
Thank you.
Maybe you can, Chuck, maybe you can introduce the band?
Sure. On the upright bass fiddle over here, Mr. Miles Ridnell from Lions in Netherlands, and from Alaska, and from Denver. I don't know. Neva Wilder. And on the dobro over here, Mr. Dylan Kober. All right. And on the mandolin, Mr. David Tiller on the mandolin.
All right.
And that's Chuck Sotero on guitar.
Woo!
All right. So how did you guys get together and form Hi Lonesome?
Very slowly. I moved out here from North Georgia 5 years ago. I had a very traditional bluegrass band back there that wouldn't have played any of the songs that we're kind of playing now, which that's the great thing about moving out here. I kind of found a less traditional scene that was a little bit more open-minded about the composition, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I've been here for 5 years, and I linked up with Dylan, who I think him and I have been playing for 3 years together at solo shows and with the band, and we've put this lineup together as you see it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're from Georgia.
I'm an Army brat, so I'm from all over. I was born in Germany. I lived in New York as a kid, but I lived in Georgia the last 30-something years.
So were you writing traditional bluegrass songs when you lived in Georgia?
Not really. I wasn't really doing this as much of a career the last 15 years because I've been just doing a lot of film work and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. So then, when you came to Colorado, you kind of got inspired and started writing what did you call it, non-traditional bluegrass tunes?
Well, I was really intimidated growing up playing bluegrass because the writers that I knew were like writing for Alison Krauss and for Conway Twitty and Merle Haggard. So I didn't really consider myself a writer. But right before I moved here, I was in a songwriting clinic with Louisa Branscombe, who's a good friend of mine, and she's a songwriter. And she kind of gave me the confidence I needed. I was already a songwriter, I just didn't know it before I came out here. So I'm kind of a late bloomer in that respect. Whereas Neva wrote this song, when you were 20 or 21?
Oh, Trust My Hands, the one we just played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote it last year, like right before we recorded it, because they were like, oh, we need one more song. And so I was like, gotta whip something out.
Yeah.
But
had you been writing for a while?
Yeah, I've been writing for a while.
Bluegrass specifically, or just
no,
all
not
kinds?
really, just kind of songs in general.
So did you just present the one song, Trust My Hands, or did you give them some?
Yeah, that's the one that I wrote that's on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sing one more song, which is actually written by Louisa Branscombe, who he was mentioning, is one of his friends.
What was so you did Trust My Hands was the last song, and what was the one before that?
That was We
Hit the Road.
We Hit the Road? Okay. And then, Dylan, you produced the debut record, right?
Yes, I did.
Had you produced a bluegrass record before?
I had not really produced a bluegrass record before. I've been recording with various different artists and groups around Colorado for quite a while. And I've been part of a couple other bluegrass projects, but this is sort of my first opportunity to pull the strings, sort of say, which was nice to be able to work, especially because I was more connected with these songs, being a part of the band and working with everyone versus some of the other recording projects that I was a part of. It was kind of more like I was just there to play the dobro, and I didn't really do anything else.
Yeah.
So it was really good to try and workshop these tunes and make them sound the best as they could, and think about, you know, what instruments are playing at what time and how we can really reinforce the songs just so that people listening to it, they can gravitate towards the songs in a variety of different ways, not just because of the songwriting, but also because of the production and sort of how the instruments are laid out. And we spent a lot of time working on some kind of written out lines in it as well. So it's not just kind of like a bare bones song with some solos on there. We really tried to put some thought and arrangement into it to give these songs some really nice structure.
Yeah, I think that comes through on the recordings for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially that first song. I remember thinking that could probably be country. It could be, you know, just a solid song.
Right.
But you're a jazz teacher, though, right?
I am. I teach jazz guitar and other music classes as well at the University of Colorado. And so playing dobro, I got into this probably about 5 or 6 years ago. But it's just been so fun playing this instrument and getting to be a part of this genre and sort of the Colorado bluegrass scene. But yeah, I do a lot of other work with like jazz and neo soul and things like that as well outside of playing dobro.
What inspired you to pick up a dobro?
I was taking this bluegrass class when I was in school, and because I thought, well, you know, this sounds pretty cool. I think I'd like to get into some flat picking stuff. And a friend of mine was in the ensemble, and he was playing guitar. So the teacher was like, well, we got a dobro if you'd ever want to try that out. And I'd been into pedal steel guitar and regular steel guitar for a while. I just really enjoyed that sound. And I thought, well, this is kind of on the course towards that. So I decided to give it a shot so I could, you know, pretend to be a pedal steel player. And it just kind of took over, and I just kind of kept playing it and loved doing it. And I've worked with Sally Van Meter and a couple other really phenomenal dobro players that I've had the pleasure of working with that have really helped me along with this instrument over the last few years.
Okay. And so you produced this record, and it's self-titled, called Hi Lonesome. And where did you guys record?
We recorded at Mighty Fine Productions in Denver, Colorado. I've worked at that studio a few times before and just had a really great experience there just as a player. So I wanted to go back and work with them. Our engineer, Lauren Dorland, is just so phenomenal, and she's really excellent at not only being an audio engineer, but also just, you know, being a good personality in the studio too. So she's really nice to work with. And Colin, the mastering engineer there, the guy who owns the studio, they're just really great people, and they're always dedicated to the project and want it to be the best that we want it to be as well. So I love working with them at that studio.
Yeah, well, it turned out very nice. And I'm curious how you have, 11 songs on the record?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you pick those 11?
Oh, all right. I guess I'm answering all the questions. We kind of workshopped with different tunes that people brought in. So we wanted to have some variety on the record so that it wasn't just all straight ahead bluegrass or kind of following some of the patterns of a lot of other bluegrass albums where it's like, you know, vocal song, fiddle tune, vocal song, fiddle tune kind of a thing. I wanted to showcase the songwriting of this band a little bit. So it's mostly all original tunes. And then we threw a couple different ones in there. We put Nashville Blues on there because Chuck really likes that song and it's dear to him. And it just kind of showcases us playing a little bit more traditional style. But it highlights a lot of the songwriting from the band with people like Neva and Chuck and myself. And so I just wanted that to be the forefront of the album.
All right. What would you like to play next for us?
I think we're going to do a song that Chuck wrote here called Savage Sundown. This might have been maybe the first song I ever played with Chuck, but he could probably tell you more about it since he wrote it.
Yeah, so I wrote this song. I don't know, like it's one of the fastest songs I've ever written, and I never did an edit on it. It was just kind of came out. I had a good feeling about it as I was walking into the studio, which has a lot to do with if you're gonna do something that day, I feel like. And but I had read a book called Chief Left Hand, and that had inspired me.
You're a savage, not the native son. What you did down at Sand Creek with the devil's cavalry. I don't know where to go. Used to follow the buffalo. Between just a nightmare inside of a dream. Say of your soldiers and their way. And I don't know where to go. Used to follow the buffalo and all the things in between. Just a nightmare inside of a dream. What can I say about the perfect place the other day? Bring your children, bring them young and weak. No dog soldiers, and you'll be free. And I don't know where to go. Between just a nightmare inside of a dream. John, what have you done? You're a savage, not the native son.
what you did down in Sand Creek with the devil's cavalry. And I know where to go. Used to follow the buffalo and all the things in between. Just a nightmare inside of a dream. And all the things in between. Just a nightmare inside of a dream.
You're listening to High Lonesome on Live at Lunch. Hey, Chuck, you mentioned before you played that song, first song, Savage Sundown, that you were inspired by a book that you were reading. What was the title of that book?
It's called Chief Left Hand, and it's an old book. It was written in the 70s, and you can get it at the Pearl Street Bookshop or a lot of the local bookstores here in Colorado. If it's a good bookshop, it should have Chief Left Hand. Yeah. And it was written by Cheyenne, a woman that was not there, but was passed down the stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find that you get a lot of your songwriting inspiration from books and that type of thing?
I feel like if I spent more time writing songs, I'd write a lot more songs. I think it's like, for me, I wish I was like other songwriters and I was just writing songs all the time, but for me, that was just a miracle that happened. That I read that book and then I wrote that song, you know.
Didn't you say you wrote the song like all in one go?
In one go, like 15 minutes. I still have the original thing, and it was exactly the
15
same.
minutes. That's like the what Paul McCartney says about Live and Let Die. 15
Oh,
minutes.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good job.
What a great tune. Even made the Guns N' Roses sound good on that one.
So the other songs that you wrote on the record weren't as a pleasurable experience as that one.
Oh gosh, the first song that we played, that took like 6 months to write.
Yeah,
You know,
that's still pretty good though.
sure,
Some
yeah,
take years.
yeah. I think everyone, if you're a songwriter, you're a songwriter.
I am, yeah.
You know, there's like tunes that are kind of like kicking around in your head, and they just won't leave until you write it. And if it's a bad or a good song, you still have to kind of write it and get it over with.
Well, and you're the only one that knows when it's done, right?
Kind of, yeah. That's why I don't try to bring a song to the band unless it's done, because then it becomes like a group song, you know. And I love that song is mine, that no one else did anything to it. And I think it's cool, like when you have your own song, right? Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, those are the songs the ones that get stuck in your head and you keep going back to, that's a good sign, right? Because
Yeah.
if it's stuck in your head,
Totally.
it's a good judgment.
Yeah. So then the rest of the songs, you have a couple covers on the record, right? How was that like a group thing or?
Well, the first one is a Nashville blues tune, which is written by Andy Delmore. When the Delmore brothers, I love bluegrass music, but I also like country and the stuff that led up to it. And that is really the precursor to bluegrass music. Before the three-finger roll, they had the mandolin and the brother harmony, and it's a lot of songs that the Delmore brothers did are now played by like Sam Bush, you know, because they lend themselves so easily to being bluegrass. Wouldn't you agree, David?
Yes.
So explain to me what the three-finger roll is.
Okay, so in 1946, the story goes, Earl was sitting on the front patio. Of course, a lot of people would argue that Don Reno was doing this, and there was a lot of banjo players that were doing like two-finger and other rolls at the time. One of them was even like the guy String Bean. He was doing some kind of roll. But Earl Scruggs was like on his patio, and he was playing, and his brother was walking up and he started doing this three-finger roll. And then he joined Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys. And that really is the thing that distinguishes. If you play Nashville blues without a roll on it, he's doing the roll on the dobro, but without like a banjo roll, it just kind of sounds like...
It creates a polyrhythm. Which
Yeah.
It's sort of, you know, secretly working a 3 against a 2 type of feel. So.
Yeah, it's like tricking you into being really fun. But a lot of people say Don Reno invented that three-finger roll, and Don Reno was drafted into World War II and was gone until 1947, so he was out of the picture. Two vastly different banjo players, but that's what really distinguishes bluegrass from everything else to me. You know, other people have different definitions of that.
So you know a lot about bluegrass. Is this something that you've studied as a hobby in addition to being a player?
Well, yeah, I've been influenced by bluegrass since I was like a little kid. I lived in Kentucky. My dad was in a bluegrass band, a very bad one. But there was a guy there that was like that worked with my dad. His name was Woody, and he turned me on to it. And then my uncles up in New England, they were in a bluegrass band. And then when I lived in Georgia, I went to Everett's Pickin' Barn every week for like decades, and I picked with the old timers, like all these really traditional, conservative-minded, very religious kind of vibe. But I learned a lot there. I mean, I can't tell you how much I learned at Everett's Pickin' Barn. And in the South and on the East Coast, there's pickin' barns, right? In Virginia?
For sure. Yeah.
You guys have pickin' barns?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think the Delmore brothers they're from Alabama. But you can ask David some stuff about traditional bluegrass because he comes from Virginia, from a very traditional background in bluegrass.
Although I got into it because I realized I could break that. I got into it via like David Grisman and Bela Fleck, or this was before Bela Fleck Bela Fleck Newgrass Revival. But then that led me. It was like the gateway into listening to the Country Gentlemen and
sure
a lot of the old stuff.
Yeah,
but I came in studying guitar and jazz guitar and mandolin, and jazz guitar and bluegrass and rock and roll, and then got into bluegrass. So I was, then mandolin somebody left a mandolin over at the house after I'd been playing guitar for years, and like, oh, this is sort of cool.
Yeah, it's easily to be influenced by David Grisman in that era too.
Yeah, and then I got to go hang out with him when I was 18, and yeah.
I think he's from Virginia, right? Isn't
No. He was from New Jersey, but he lives in California. He's lived in California for years.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all spoiled. David Grisman Quintet. Those are great shows to be, around back in the day.
For sure. Well, what do you want to play next for us?
Yeah, so these two tunes are from the record. They're both tunes that Chuck wrote, and they both kind of have a little bit different feel to them. One's a little bit more straightforward, but I think the other one really kind of showcases some of that difference in our songwriting that I wanted to highlight on the album. So this first one's called All That's Left, and the one we'll go into is called You'll Never Know.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Say you're free or say you're stuck. Seems to be a thing to do. Cancel me, I'll cancel you. Cancel me, I'll cancel you. Visit that simple friend. Take your word and not offend. Then when we disagree, you don't talk to me, you don't wanna talk to me. I was born and I was bred, leaving everything that's said. And all that makes sense to me. Yeah, 1 and 1, sure it's 3. 1 and 1, sure it's 3. bad looks on you.
That's High Lonesome playing live for us on Live at Lunch. And those two songs, that was All That's Left and You'll Never Know.
Yes.
Is that right? And those are both off the new record, huh?
They sure are. Yeah.
So you guys have a couple good shows coming up. One is Big Wonderful. Is that right?
Yeah, we're playing up there at Winter Park. And we're going to be playing for a bunch of folks. Is it a ski resort? Is that what's happening? Mm-hmm. So people are skiing down to the bottom of the mountain. We just did. We do a lot of those like ski resort things, so that's kind of.
I love the ski resort ones.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're the best ones.
Yeah.
That and weddings.
Have you played this one before?
I don't think so. Have we?
We played the Denver one, right?
Yeah.
Pretty low key though. But
So no, we haven't played this one before.
And then you're also at Swallow Hill on April 19th. Is that?
love that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like the best venue.
And you all live? Do you all live in Denver? 'Cause I know Miles lives in Netherlands.
Everybody lives in Denver except for Miles and I. We live in the mountains and they live in the city.
Although Lions is my home, I'm a temporary resident of Denver.
Yeah.
I just drive to Lions like once a week.
I know. Sorry about that.
You know, we were talking about songwriting before and these picking barns and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Chuck, who are some of the artists that you listen to that you find that inspires your songwriting?
Ooh, my songwriting? I don't know. The Beatles for sure. Hard to get away from that. Robert Hunter, Bob Dylan. Hard to be live up to him because he's got such a large vocabulary and everything, and he's such a great songwriter. But he does inspire me. Larry Cordell, great bluegrass songwriter. I like him a lot. Of course, anything I listen to, I'm inspired by. I don't listen to a lot of bluegrass. I listen to a lot of other stuff. So I could be influenced by African music or John Coltrane or whatever. I have a pretty open mind. The last song I just wrote it to write a bluegrass song. So it was like, I guess I was kind of influenced by Jimmy Martin, so it just depends on the song. But usually just kind of influenced by whatever psychotic, random thing is in my head in the shower or whatever song is bouncing around in my head,
Yeah. What about you, David? You get inspired to? I know David Grissom is one of your mandolin heroes.
Oh, for sure. I spent a life playing guitar and mandolin and songwriting. I'm a songwriter too. I'm new to the band. I'm the new guy. I just got in after the record. I got in like December, I think so. I have
the band.
Yeah, so their last mandolin player had to leave. So I'm the new guy. But I was with a band called The Amusement and songwriting group, and then I have a band called Tarka that's with my partner. It's toured around for many years, but this group needs a mandolin player, so I'm here to help out.
Excellent.
But songwriting is definitely a big thing for me too, and hopefully we'll do some of my songs eventually too.
Who are some of your heroes?
Oh God, I've got many. Some of the obvious ones like Leonard Cohen or Bob Dylan, but I also, as a backup artist, I've been playing. I played for years with a guy named Nathan Moore, and then I also played with James McMurtry for a while, who's an old friend, who I think is a prolific songwriter, and love his writing, and so lots of different places.
What about you, Neva?
I am obsessed with Alison Krauss and Union Station, obviously. Bob Dylan, love him. As far as fiddle, my main influence currently is Michael Cleveland, just because he does the whole bluegrass and speed. It's amazing. But I really got into Natalie McMaster too, right when I started doing fiddle. That's how I kind of got into fiddle out of classical music, because that's what I started on. Okay. Which definitely took a 2-year break after being in orchestras my whole life. Kind of a toxic environment, in my opinion. Okay. I mean, you're literally ranked, you're sitting best to worst. But, it's for some people, it's not for others.
All part of the journey, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Suzuki.
There you go. All right, well, we've got some more music coming up from you guys, but before we get to that, I want to make sure that I thank the Live at Lunch team, executive producer David Vacek. We've got Eric Delano as our lead videographer, Dan Perez also on video today, Greg Douras is on audio, Colton Boening is also on audio, and Reed Goodwin's helping out as well. My name is Ben Dickinson. It's a pleasure for me to host this show, and I'm really thankful that you tune in. If you have missed some of this episode, or maybe even would like to check up on other episodes that we've done, you can go to the KRFC RadioVision on YouTube, and you can subscribe. You'll get notified when we release new episodes, and you can keep in touch with everything that we do here with Live at Lunch. And now back to the music. What do you guys want to do next for us?
This is a blues tune called As the Crow Flies. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Singing the blues. There's a crow flies, there's a cat moves. I'm a sad Bojangles to you, singing the blues.
2, 3, 4.
Every day my Thank you for listening to Live at Lunch, and thank you to the Music District here in the heart of Fort Collins, Colorado. Live at Lunch is produced by KRFC 88.9 FM in the Ginger and Baker studio. If you'd like to appear on Live at Lunch, email our music director, David Vacek, at david@krfcfm.org.